In the shadows of the internet, love can bloom. But what happens when love isn't what it seems? When messages turn into lies, and lies turn into blood. This is the story of an online love triangle so twisted, it ended in cold-blooded murder. Stay with me to the end, because you will not believe the shocking discovery that turned everything upside down. The story begins in 2018. Meet Elena Carter, 24 years old, a shy librarian in Ohio, who never really found her place in the offline world. Her days were quiet, books, routines, and nights spent scrolling through online forums. She wasn't looking for love. Not at first. But loneliness is a strange thing. It creeps up, sits on your chest at night, and whispers that maybe you deserve to be seen. And then she met Jay. Jay appeared on a book discussion forum. He was everything Elena wanted. Funny, attentive, passionate about poetry, and he actually listened. Their chats went from forum comments to private messages, and then long, late-night video calls. Elena felt alive again. Jay wasn't just an online fling. He made her feel chosen, special, loved. But there was something she didn't know, something that would set off a chain of events leading straight to murder. Jay, real name Jason Marrow, wasn't just talking to Elena. He was also deeply involved with Lily Parker, a 27-year-old freelance photographer he'd met on a dating app 2 years earlier. Lily was fiery, artistic, and obsessive. She lived for Jason's attention and thought they were soulmates. To her, Jason wasn't just a boyfriend. He was her future husband, her everything. But Jason had secrets. He told Elena that he was single, that he'd been hurt in the past but was ready to move on. To Lily, he told a different story, that he was working long hours, stressed, and sometimes too tired to talk. He didn't think the lies would ever collide. He didn't think two women, worlds apart, would ever meet. He was wrong. One evening, Elena noticed something odd. During a video call, Jason's phone lit up with a name she didn't recognize, Lily Red Hearts. When she asked, Jason quickly brushed it off. "Just a cousin," he said. His smile was too quick, his tone too casual. Elena wanted to believe him. She pushed the thought aside, until she saw the name again. This time, it wasn't just a call, it was dozens of texts, lighting up his phone, one after another. Jason turned the camera off immediately. That night, Elena couldn't sleep. Who was Lily? Meanwhile, Lily had her own doubts. Jason was slipping away, canceling calls, disappearing for hours, making excuses. She felt him pulling back, and her gut told her something was wrong. One night, when he left his laptop open during a visit, Lily saw messages. Long, emotional, romantic messages, signed by someone named Elena. Her world shattered. She confronted him, screaming, "Who is she?" Jason panicked, trying to calm her. "She means nothing, Lily. Just some girl online. You're the one I love." But Lily wasn't convinced. She was consumed with rage, betrayal, and obsession. She wasn't going to let some girl take what belonged to her. Over the next few weeks, the tension escalated. Jason tried to juggle both women, lying to Elena that Lily was a stalker who wouldn't leave him alone, while telling Lily that Elena was crazy and obsessed with him. But both women were relentless. Both demanded answers. Both were in love with him. Seriously, dangerously in love. And then, it happened. Elena received a message. Not from Jason, but from Lily. It was short, sharp, and venomous. "Stay away from Jason. He's mine. If you don't, you'll regret it." Elena's hands shook as she read it. Her heart pounded. She confronted Jason, and he swore up and down that Lily was lying, that she was unstable, obsessed, dangerous. He begged Elena not to leave him. He told her that she was his real love, not Lily. Elena wanted to believe him. She loved him too much not to. But something inside her had shifted. Fear crept in. Who was telling the truth? Who was lying? And why did she suddenly feel like she was being watched? Lily couldn't let it go. She started tracking Elena online, finding her social media accounts, her photos, even her workplace. She wasn't just angry. She was planning something. Elena began noticing strange things. Anonymous messages calling her a thief. Her car tires slashed in the library parking lot. A figure lurking across the street from her apartment at night. She went to Jason, terrified. He held her, promised to protect her, swore he'd take care of it. But Jason wasn't protecting anyone. He was hiding. Hiding the truth, hiding from his own lies, and pushing two women toward a collision he couldn't stop. It all came to a head one rainy night in November. Lily showed up at Elena's apartment. Not with a message. Not with a warning. But with a knife. She pounded on the door, screaming Elena's name, screaming Jason's name, screaming that if she couldn't have him, nobody would. Elena froze, her heart racing, as the pounding grew louder. And then, silence. When Elena finally dared to peek through the window, Lily was gone. But this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. What would you have done if you were Elena? Would you have stayed in this online relationship, or walked away the moment you saw the warning signs? Tell me in the comments below. And if you're hooked already, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, because the next part of this story is going to get even darker. The night Lily appeared at Elena's apartment changed everything. Elena couldn't sleep. Every creak of the floorboards, every shadow outside her window, made her feel hunted. She filed a police report, but with no direct proof, no crime beyond threats, there was little they could do. Jason's response? He brushed it off. She's unstable, Elena. She just needs to move on. Don't worry. I won't let her touch you. But there was no comfort in his words anymore. Elena had seen the wildness in Lily's eyes. This wasn't going to end with apologies or blocking numbers. Something darker was coming. Lily, meanwhile, was unraveling. She spent her nights scrolling through Elena's social media, staring at every photo, every smile. Her journal became a storm of scribbled rage. She doesn't deserve him. He's mine. If I can't have Jason, no one will. She drove past Elena's apartment, past her workplace. She even followed her one evening, headlights trailing like a predator. Friends tried to intervene, but Lily cut them off. In her mind, Jason was her destiny, and Elena was the thief who had stolen it. The more Jason pulled away, the deeper Lily's obsession dug in. Jason was trapped. To Elena, he swore Lily was nothing more than a deranged ex. To Lily, he whispered that Elena was just an online fling, a mistake, that she meant nothing compared to her. But both women began to see the cracks. One night, Elena secretly checked Jason's social media. Hidden among tagged photos, she found a picture of him and Lily from just a few months before. Smiling, arms around each other, looking like a couple in love. Her stomach sank. The lies were unraveling. When she confronted him, Jason exploded. Why don't you trust me? She's crazy, Elena. I love you. Don't let her ruin us. Tears streamed down her face. She wanted to believe him, but her heart whispered that the man she loved wasn't telling the truth. Weeks turned into a nightmare. Elena's car was vandalized again. She started receiving anonymous emails, slut, homewrecker, die. Packages showed up at her door with dead flowers inside. The police still said they couldn't do much. No fingerprints. No direct proof. Elena lived in fear. She barely ate. She barely slept. Every time she walked home, she looked over her shoulder, expecting Lily to be there. And sometimes, she was. Neighbors reported seeing a woman parked across the street, watching Elena's building. Through it all, Jason did nothing. He avoided calls when the tension rose too high, feeding both women just enough affection to keep them tethered to him. But in truth, Jason was selfish. He enjoyed being wanted, being fought over. He never admitted it out loud, but deep down, he liked the power. What he didn't realize was that power was about to cost someone their life. It was early December when Lily snapped. She drove to Jason's apartment, pounding on the door until neighbors threatened to call the police. When he finally opened, she shoved her way inside, screaming, sobbing, demanding answers. "You told me you loved me. You promised. Why her?" Jason tried to calm her, but his mask slipped. His voice turned cold. "Lily, it's over. You're embarrassing yourself. I don't want you anymore." The words shattered her. She left his apartment trembling with rage, tears blurring her vision. By the time she sat in her car, a decision had already formed in her mind. If Jason wouldn't come back to her willingly, then Elena had to be removed. Elena received a message the next day, from Jason. "Meet me tonight. I need to see you. Let's talk. Just us." Her heart skipped. They'd been distant, fighting more than loving lately. But maybe this was his way of making things right. Maybe they could still salvage what they had. She agreed. But Elena didn't know the truth. Jason hadn't sent that message. Lily had hacked into his account. And tonight, she wasn't meeting Jason. She was walking into Lily's trap. It was cold and foggy when Elena arrived at the abandoned park Jason supposedly chose. She stood by the swings, shivering, waiting for him. Minutes passed. No Jason. And then, footsteps. Lily stepped out of the darkness, knife in hand. "You ruined everything." Her voice was a hiss, trembling with fury. "You took him from me. He was mine. He'll always be mine." Elena froze, her breath catching. "Lily, please, this isn't what you think. Jason, he lied to both of us." But Lily wasn't listening. Her eyes were wild, unblinking. The knife glinted under the moonlight as she stepped closer. Elena stumbled backward, heart hammering, until her back hit the cold metal of the playground slide. And then, screams. If you were Elena in that park, face to face with a knife-wielding rival, what would you do? Run. Fight. Beg for your life. Tell me in the comments, because this is the moment everything changes. By the time neighbors heard the screams and called the police, the park was silent again. When officers arrived, they found blood, a knife, and signs of a struggle. But neither woman was there. Both Elena and Lily were gone. And Jason, he was at home, asleep, pretending he had no idea what was happening. But soon, the truth would unravel. And the final discovery, who lived, who died, and who betrayed them all, would shock the world. The night was heavy with fog when police scoured the park. Their flashlights cut through the mist, revealing smeared footprints, droplets of blood leading into the woods, and a discarded cell phone, shattered, screen cracked. It belonged to Elena. But there was no sign of her. No sign of Lily either. The small town buzzed with rumors. 2 women fighting over 1 man. A knife. Blood. Disappearance. Everyone asked the same question: who had survived? When officers knocked on Jason's door, he put on a flawless performance. He widened his eyes, clutched his chest, stammered. "Missing? Elena. Lily. I don't know anything. God, this is insane." But behind the mask, Jason was calculating. He thought he had gotten away with it. He thought the mess would clean itself up, that the 2 women who once suffocated him with love had destroyed each other. But he didn't realize the trail of lies was already unraveling. 3 days later, hikers stumbled upon a shallow ditch in the woods near the park. Inside, wrapped in a torn jacket, was a body. It was Lily. Her throat had been slashed. Defensive wounds covered her hands. The knife from the park was still buried beside her. But the strangest part? The angle of the wounds suggested she hadn't been attacked by Elena. She had been overpowered. Surprised. By someone stronger. Just as police began suspecting Elena, she reappeared. Disheveled. Covered in scratches. Shaking with terror. She stumbled into a gas station 2 towns away, whispering only one name. Jason. When detectives sat her down, Elena's story poured out between sobs. She had gone to the park, expecting to meet Jason. Instead, Lily had confronted her with the knife. But before Lily could strike, Jason appeared. At first, Elena thought he was there to save her. But what happened next froze her blood. Jason grabbed the knife. Not to protect her, but to silence Lily. He turned on Lily with terrifying speed, plunging the blade into her again and again. Her screams echoed through the park until there was only silence. Elena was paralyzed with shock. Jason leaned close, blood on his hands, and whispered, "See, I chose you. I'd do anything for you." Elena ran. She ran until her legs gave out, until she collapsed in the woods. She hid for days, too terrified to go home, too terrified to believe what she'd seen. Police confronted Jason with Elena's account. He laughed at first, calling her crazy, claiming she had killed Lily in self-defense. But forensics told a different story. Lily's wounds matched Jason's dominant hand. His fingerprints were on the knife. His phone records placed him in the park that night. And the most damning evidence? Search history from his laptop. How to get rid of 2 girlfriends. How deep to bury a body. How to hack messages. Jason wasn't caught in a love triangle. He was orchestrating it. Feeding both women lies, hoping their conflict would explode, and when it did, he finished it himself. The trial was a media circus. Headlines screamed, "Love triangle killer. Blood in the park. Online obsession ends in murder." Elena testified, her voice trembling, as she relived the night Jason turned from lover to monster. Jason sat there stone-faced, cold, almost bored, until the verdict was read. Guilty. Life in prison. But for Elena, there was no victory. She hadn't just lost her innocence. She had lost her trust in love, in people, in herself. Months later, Elena moved away, trying to rebuild. But some nights, she swore she could still hear Jason's voice, whispering the words that had broken her soul. "See, I chose you." She would never forget that night. Never forget Lily's scream. Never forget the blood. Because love had brought her to Jason. And Jason had brought her to hell. Do you think Jason planned the murder all along? Or do you believe he snapped in the heat of the moment? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story gripped you, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more chilling true crime stories every week. Love is supposed to be safe. Love is supposed to be kind. But sometimes, love online is just a mask. And when the mask slips, it doesn't just break hearts. It spills blood.